Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining the webinar today. As you can see, the main topic is to discuss proactive network monitoring. We'll be talking about LogicMonitor. It's a monitoring tool that Spherica actually use in-house because it's an excellent product. We use it to monitor all our customer contracts, whether it be a managed service or out-of-hours contracts. So we have great knowledge of the actual solution, and by the fact that we use it, we believe it is an excellent solution to look at today. Without further ado, I just want to introduce ourselves. As you can see, we've got myself and Mike on the speaker. There's a bit of an agenda, so it's quite light because basically introduce us. I'll talk for a couple of minutes about who Spherica are. Then we'll go into the LogicMonitor demo with Q&A towards the end. It should, as I say, last about 20-25 minutes, but we'll allow time at the end to ask questions. But if you want to ask questions as we go through, then that will be fine. Okay. So start with yourself. I'm a business development manager. My role in Spherica is to talk to our clients, understand what their business challenges are or needs, and then bring to the table a Spherica sort of solution that may meet those specific needs. So it's very much helping out get through those sort of challenges in business through your IT technology. Today, basically, I'm just opening the call. Mike's going to be doing most of the talk about LogicMonitor. And at the end, I'll close it off with a question and answer session and just basically close the session off completely. So we'll take it from there. Mike is, say, running the LogicMonitor demo today. He's head of our technical services, so runs a whole team of engineers. As I said earlier, they all use LogicMonitor, so have a massive wealth of experience in this particular solution. And from that, we obviously pass that expertise onto our clients. I won't go through these in detail, but this is our 5 core services. It's all very much self-explanatory. If you want to know any more about any of these particular services, contact me. I'll put my details on at the end, and we can go through that. But it's these services aren't really relevant to today, but you can see that we've got a broad spectrum. I think the one thing that is interesting about Spherica, we're very much an automation first company. So what does that mean? We try and help companies, including ourselves, automate certain processes, especially mundane processes, repetitive. So, for example, on a service desk, we automate password resets. We all know what password resets, it takes up so much time, but we automate that. So it gives us a bit of a novel sort of approach to helping our clients. During the demo today, you'll clearly see through what Mike's going to show you how to optimize network performance and look at sort of like potential threats or risks to do with things like end-of-life products, services, support being ceased on various devices, and also to try and prevent downtime. And the one question I think everybody should ask themselves that's on this webinar is what impact it has on your business if you have something like a network outage, and like in anything, a massive problem, both financially and towards your customer base and running your business. So these things like LogicMonitor help prevent that downtime, and also gives you an insight to planning for the future. So it's a very useful tool, hopefully you'll see. So without further ado, I'm going to pass over to Mike. I'll stop sharing my screen so Mike can share his, and I'll come back a bit later when Mike's finished. Thank you. Over to you, Mike. Just stop sharing now.
Yeah, thanks for that, Paul. So let me just get my screen shared here. Okay, so you should be able to see that. Yep, so we'll start off. Yep, thank you. So yeah, I'll start straight off. So obviously, one of the key areas of monitoring tools is dashboarding, and a lot of solutions out there, your likes of SolarWinds and PRTG, and those they're pretty good out of the box. They look good, but this is where LogicMonitor in itself is leaps and bounds above any other solution. So it gives us the real detail in what you want a dashboard in essence. So it gives you you have multiple options when it comes to dashboard. So it gives you the ability to either have a more technical focused dashboard, which will give you again all the data that you need, all the requirements. As you can see on this section here, it's very detailed, but we can also do more of a service management focused dashboard, which again is your typical greens good, reds not so good. So it does give you the ability there to obviously adjust those dashboards to suit. There's a lot of information. So basically any device, any service or anything that is monitored through LogicMonitor gives you the ability then to obviously dashboard it, graph it, table it, whichever way suits you as a business. And this is where LogicMonitor really shines above the others, because it does give you that granularity or the simplicity that you need. So as you can see from a couple of these graphs and tables, we've got a variety here, and this gives you really the front end. Again, it really shows its worth when so major key stakeholders within the business might not understand all this detail. So it's good to be able to show the benefit of the product and being able to show key stakeholders within the business why this is such a useful tool. So I'll just move on to the next section. So basically, obviously, the crux of LogicMonitor is that it is a monitoring tool. So we always check and make sure that these particular products have the basics covered. So you've got the likes of your CPU, your disk monitoring. But again, I'll touch on this a bit later. But we also have the ability again within LogicMonitor to create what's called custom modules. So within here, if there's a bit of information on a server, a switch, or any device out there, we have the ability to create what's called custom modules to achieve that. So, for example, this is one we've created for a particular customer of ours, which actually lists out all the installed applications on a particular server. So, again, just to get your minds flowing around the art of the possible, where your normal market leaders within monitoring tools don't necessarily have those customizability within the platform. So again, LogicMonitor is really key in that, in terms of they give you the basics and they make sure they tick the basics really well. So all the information here is what you would expect from your basic monitoring tool, but it also gives you a platform of development as well. And again, we've done a lot at Spherica ourselves. We've done a lot of custom development within LogicMonitor. So we have the ability then to obviously share those and work collaboratively, that type of thing within those sections. So again, this is just an example of some of the customizability, and I'll just touch on another one. So, for example, one of our clients have had a request in to see what outstanding Windows patches are on their server. So we customly developed that and was able to provide that. So again, just trying to get your minds focused around not thinking around what does a monitoring tool do, but what you actually require from your monitoring tool. So again, a lot of customizability within that section. So I'll just move on to the next bit. So logging. So obviously LogicMonitor has the ability to become a what we like to call a full-blown SIEM platform. So it has the ability to aggregate logs from multiple platforms. So as long as it's got an API endpoint and integration, be it via SNMP, syslog, anything, it can ingest these logs, and it then you have the ability from there to then obviously set your own parameters around alerting. But what LogicMonitor does really well compared to other monitoring tools in the market is around anomaly detection. So that is basically it'll look at your whole environment and set a benchmark over a period of time. So let's say, I don't know, 15, 20 days. So it's able to benchmark that. And then if it sees an increase in alerts for a particular device or over the whole environment, it's able to create what's called anomaly events. And you'll see a couple here in this table. So what that tells you then is that, okay, so perhaps I do have a problem. And then you have the ability to then delve into each of these. So it's a really powerful tool. And again, thinking outside of the box of your normal monitoring tool, usually it's let me just get all the devices in my environment monitored into this, but you can also point things at it and grab information as well. So things like API integrations, things like that, this does very well. So for example, if you've got a third-party antivirus system which produces logs, and then it's more focused around how, if you've got multiple platforms that you manage within your teams or within your company, it has the ability then to bring that information. We very much like to see LogicMonitor as a single pane of glass platform to bring all other systems into here. And again, it doesn't matter how old or how new it is, as long as it has the ability to send logs somewhere or has the ability to allow LogicMonitor to go and grab the logs, it can bring them in. And again, you've got a full aggregation then of all of your systems in your environment. So again, really changing the mentality of just a monitoring platform. This has then the ability to correlate all of that into, again, a single pane of glass system. Just move on to the next one. So alerting. So obviously a key part of any monitoring platform is it's alerting. So this can be obviously achieved by just an alarm panel that somebody has to log into every day. But we within LogicMonitor, that they have all of their alerting tools and exports, etc., all free of charge. So where the likes of SolarWinds, you would need something like PagerDuty, for example, to integrate in. This gives you the ability then to integrate that for free, so you're not having to pay for a PagerDuty or said other platform. So you can set up your alerts as granular as possible, as simple as possible. And then obviously you've got your phone calls, your text messages. Again, it's all free of charge, built within LogicMonitor as well, which I think is a really good move, and stops you having to obviously pay for another system and obviously another platform to maintain. So back to my point again of this being a single pane of glass and a single system for all your monitoring needs. And again, some of the key ones in their ServiceNow. So if you've want ITSM integration, it's got ServiceNow integration out the box, so that's available as a module to add on to LogicMonitor as well. So, and again, even if there is not a native integration within LogicMonitor, there are custom connectors that you can create. Again, it's a very open platform, and there's a lot of room for development. So, for example, if you've got a ITSM that isn't in here or a service that isn't out of the box within LogicMonitor, again, we can help, or we can point in the right direction of any custom development around that. We'll just move on to the next one. So, network topologies. So, in a lot of environments, you would probably have a diagram, let's say, or a spreadsheet of all your devices, how they're connected, etc., etc. And we've spoken to a lot of customers, a lot of clients to understand that most of the time it's kept up to date. It's probably not up to date. We could more or less guarantee that they're all not up to date. So with LogicMonitor and through CDP, LLDP neighborships, and within the basic logic building within LogicMonitor, it's able to map out a dynamic fresh, up-to-date network topology for your whole environment. So focusing on the networking side of things, this really gives you the ability there to connect and show multiple devices. So the minute you were to add a new device, for example, then this would dynamically update itself, and this is exportable, that type of thing. So to have the ability there to have a live topology is really useful and really does tick off that mundane updates of spreadsheets, documents, videos, that type of thing. So if you're ever asked or needed an output of your topology, it's here, it's dynamic. And also this does help a lot with troubleshooting as well. So within here, you can click on one of the connections and get a live output of where that's connected. So typical thing from a support perspective, and I've seen it numerous times, and clients are the same, where they are like, oh, okay, where's this switch connected, or where's this access point connected? Those type of questions. And simply within here, you can see that we have the ability to see that straight away. So just for a click of the button here, I'm able to see where that device is connected into the local and the remote ports as well. So it really does give you that full end-to-end, not only topology, but also troubleshooting method as well. So it's a really powerful tool, and not, again, removes that mundane task of having to keep that up to date. So again, these are just some of the features that LogicMonitor have, which you might not have thought that you would need from a monitoring tool, but for it to just chuck that in there as straight out the box free of charge, fantastic. It really helps. So I'll just move on to the next piece. So modules. So where you, again, I'll touch on the market leaders, because obviously a lot of people are going to go for the market leaders. So again, your SolarWinds, PRTG, those type of platforms are very good at giving you a package, and let's say a vendor changes a feature or adds a new section to their GUI or within their command line or something like that. So this really gives you then the ability to then go through and see all these active modules that LogicMonitor actively updates. So the key thing here is that any improvements, any new features that are provided by vendors, LogicMonitor are pretty hot on the tail of that, with making sure that their monitoring tool out of the box has the ability to monitor those components. So again, we see regular updates. We're always updating clients' tenants to ensure that they've got the latest and greatest. And yeah, again, these are thick and fast, and LogicMonitor have an army of developers and engineers that are constantly working on these type of things. So again, these modules are really useful. So they also have a strong community as well. So have the ability there to tap into people who've created custom modules. So again, there's a strong community page for them there, and there's lists of them on there which you can integrate into the system as well. And then, like I mentioned earlier, around the custom development of modules as well. So if there was a particular switch, a particular router that has a feature, for example, a BGP feature that you want to monitor more specifically, you can actually create a custom module within your platform to then monitor that particular piece. So it's very, again, it's as complex or as simple as you need it. So if you're looking at the simple side of LogicMonitor, where you just want it out of the box, deployed and monitoring, again, it's up there with the market leaders by far. So it really helps in that respect. But then again, you can go to the complete other side and develop a completely custom platform for yourselves. So it's really good out of the box, but also the potential there to create so much custom development is endless within that. So it's a really useful tool in that respect. So looking at some of the outputs, so you probably ask yourself, right, okay, so I want to look at things like throughput and throughput, CPU usage, that type of thing within devices. So again, here I've just got an example of a normal Cisco switch. And again, you'll notice, again, looking at, if you've got experience with normal monitoring platforms, you'll see the likes of your CPU, interface, things like that. But again, out of the box, there are some key features that I think personally, from a technical point of view, that LogicMonitor gives you that other monitoring platforms lack on. And it's something very simple, but LogicMonitor seem to go, okay, that's something somebody would want to use. So they put it in from the outset. So, and again, this is where you'd need constant development of something like SolarWinds to get it up to a very good standard. So, for example, CDP neighbors is always quite useful to know. And again, a key bit of information there. So some of the good things we've got, this has a long logging period as well. So we have up to a year's worth of data within this. And again, it's all cloud-based, so there's no worries about potentially losing data or losing any logs or anything you need. So from here, especially, you've got things like CPU usage, which is the basic you'd expect. And again, here's another example of where LogicMonitor does things really well. So got things like configs. So, for example, you're in a situation where you've got a third-party tool, you're FTPing configs off your device to store it, and it's a bit of a mundane, and again, another system that you have to monitor and maintain, that type of thing. This is where, again, LogicMonitor have really pulled out a brilliant feature here, which is around keeping copies of your configs on all your devices in the cloud with no interaction required. So again, we can see we've got running and startup configs. And what's really interesting with these as well is that you can actually attach alerts to them. So if you're in a situation where you've got a network outage or something like that, and you need to go through the troubleshooting steps that you would usually go through, then being able to identify if there are any changes on the network, any configuration changes by an engineer before something happened, then this really gives you the power then to say, right, I can see that there were changes before this happened. Then the whole raft of alerts come out. So yeah, this really gives you that focused view of any changes within your environment, especially around outages. So again, this just gives you a basic idea of what you'd expect from monitoring output. But again, back to my point of the custom development piece. So if there's something, a particular device, any device whatsoever, that you want to monitor, or as a specific feature, a specific log you want to gather, again, back to the modules piece, we can help and develop custom modules for you to be able to pull that data. Okay, so that concludes that section and overview of that. So I'll just stop sharing my screen there. Okay, so I'll just hand back over to Paul.
Yeah, thanks for that, Mike. Very high level, but obviously covered what we need to cover, so it's good. Sorry about that. Can you see my screen, Mike? It's a good way to check.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. See my screen, but I can't move it. Bear with me a second. So anyway, here we come to the Q&A. If you have any questions, probably the best thing is just drop them into chat. I'll give a minute or so for that to take place, and then we'll move just to close the session. So yeah, just drop them into chat. Don't ask us any questions about the general election, otherwise we'll be here for the rest of the week, or probably at least the 4th of July. This is when I panic a bit, because if Mike drops off the call, I can't answer any technical questions. So please stay with us, Mike, for the time being.
Yeah,
as you said. Yeah, well, yeah. If you can't think of any questions now, sure, please think about them later if you'd like to, and drop me an email. My contact details are as shown on the screen. But I'll give it a couple of 30 more seconds, and then we'll bring it to a close, so we finish at 1:30, so it should be bang on time. These webinars are a great sort of platform to give a very good overview of something like LogicMonitor, but unfortunately we can't tailor them for the specific needs or requirements that you may have. But it gives just whet the appetite. So what we usually recommend, if you want to know more detail, please get in touch and we'll do a specific LogicMonitor demo or overview again, but match them into your specific requirements and details, and you'll get far more out of that than probably just the general overview today. If you do another demo or you want to look at proof of concept, please get in touch. Or if you want to meet myself, I can talk obviously at high level about LogicMonitor, all our assessment services which use LogicMonitor as a collector of information. Very good ways of doing a health check of your network and that sort of thing, identifying where threats and vulnerabilities or risks may be there that you may not have considered, or just give a good warning of things to be prepared for. I can also go through the full portfolio of Spherica services. So yes, drop us a line or give me a call and we can set that up. As I said at the start, the session has been recorded, so we will send that out to the attendees today. Obviously, you can share it with your colleagues, and we'll do that probably at the start of next week, as it's Friday tomorrow. So yeah, without any further ado, thank you for your time today. We all know you've got busy schedules, so taking time out is excellent, and hopefully we've give you a bit of insight that you may find out some more information. So for now, wishing everybody a great weekend. Thanks for your time, and we hopefully can speak to you soon. Take care.